Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
Is it rest in peace for the Celtics, Jake? I mean, I don't want to. I know this is a baseball podcast and all, but I know that the Celtics are near and dear to your heart. And I mean, I tried to tweet about baseball last night, and I was told to read the room and to like shut the fuck up and things of that nature, which is crazy because, you know, if you follow me, you would know like I just talk about baseball. So I don't know, you know, like that's like going into Home Depot being like, stop selling me tools. It's like, well, that's kind of what we do here. But yeah, so I mean, I just want to check in on how you're doing in terms of the Celtics right now, Jake.
Yeah, I'm not doing great. Down 2-0 is not where you want to be to start a series.
Mm-mm.
I think there's still even money to win the series, which is crazy, but like just 2 back-to-back 20-point losses is just terrible.
Have we checked in on Paul Pierce's bunions? I mean, that's who I'm really worried about. Because your boy is still hoofing it.
What's the deal with that?
Today.
I mean, like, you're going to have to like provide more context because I'm sure that there's people like me listening that only care about baseball. Like, what's going on with Paul Pierce right now?
They're calling him Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, Paul Bunyan, J.A. From what I understand, Jared, it's unfortunate that you don't follow basketball like the rest of the podcast here. But Paul Pierce, as you would know, and I know this as a diehard lifelong basketball fan of 2 years, that he made the bet on television saying, if they lose this game, I am walking to work in my bathrobe. And so
how long of a walk are we talking, like distance wise? Do we know?
I believe it was like 15 miles.
Oh,
yeah. So not ideal. So he started somewhere around 3 this morning, be my guess.
15-mile walk. I mean, that's almost a marathon.
Yeah, it's closer to being a marathon than it is not being a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just tough.
Yeah, I think by my estimation, it's about 20-minute. I'm on like a 20-minute mile pace for walking. So Paul Pierce, retired athlete, you know, he's got a bad wheel or two. I feel like I'm probably like in my prime, about the same as an injured pro athlete in his late 40s.
Could you beat Paul Pierce in a walk to work?
No, I wouldn't make it to 15 miles. No, I think I would tap out at some point.
Well, Jake, I'm sorry that you have encountered this emotional hurdle. I feel like you are well equipped to clear it, though. Just, you know, stay strong.
We'll be all right. A lot of series left.
Per the internet, it says most people walk between 3 and 4 miles per hour. So 15, you know, everybody can do the math from there. 3 miles per hour, 15 miles would take 5 hours.
Maybe.
I think it would take longer.
Yeah, it's going to take him a lot longer.
Brother, this fucking dog, I'm trying to get him used to the studio so that he can just like when I'm in the office, like in the morning when I'm doing my prep work, he'll just lay right at my feet. He's like, this is nice. So I was like, oh, like that's gonna translate to the studio. No, like where it's like I'm just talking at a laptop pretty much. And he's like, fucking, what's over here? What's this over here?
Do you have a place for him to hang out? Does he have his little place there in the studio?
He's got his bed is right here. He's got toys. He's got a bed. He's just like, oh, what's this? Is this a light socket? Should I stick my tongue in it? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's learning. He's not the brightest bulb, but he is learning.
I remember one time in first grade, I'll never forget it. We were sitting on the carpet in the classroom, right? You know, you're sitting around reading, listening to the teacher or whatever. And I saw this girl named Erin, and she pulls her hairpin out of her hair.
No.
And she goes,
no.
And she puts it right in the socket.
Did she fucking fry?
She was unhappy. Yeah. She had to be taken from the class, went to the nurse, probably went to the real doctor. Yeah, I mean, she's fine. I think she's fine. She ended up being fine from the shock, but yeah, it's like one of those childhood scenes that's seared into your brain for the rest of time. It's like I'm back in first grade every single time I think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Erin Curry right over there. Yeah. She's about to stick the thing right into the fucking socket.
Elementary school sounds like it was electric, J.A.
Oh,
it was Shoutout Valley Forge. Yeah. George Washington.
I also have that elementary school memory burned into my head. We were playing what was called, we called it suicide. It was called wall ball, though.
Oh, yeah.
For the PG crowd. And we were playing on the back side of the wall. So just think, that massive wall that everybody had in their elementary school playground, but on the back side where the posts are, structurally sound and integral, the little screws, the big bolts, I should say, that stick out on the back of those beams are, they're exposed. So we had a kid, and I remember his name. I don't remember his last name, but I remember his name, Nathaniel. And Nathaniel was running to the fucking wall and ran, and jumped so he could reach the wall and get to the wall. Well, he tripped and his leg just slammed right into the post, and he had a fucking hexagon in his thigh. And I was just like it didn't even bleed. It was just open, like pure cookie cut into the flesh. And I was fucking losing it. I was running around screaming, his leg fell off. His leg fell off. Nathan's leg fell off. Yard duty's fucking panicking. I mean, it was obviously a big deal because he had a hole in his leg, but it's not like blood was squirting everywhere. The fucking guy got up. They walked him to the fucking doctor. Walked him to the nurse. I was like, dude, this guy's a savage.
Yeah.
Nathaniel's legend grew that day.
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
Old Nathaniel hole in the leg. That's
yeah. What's his rap sheet look like?
I don't know.
2025.
That was
definitely his villain origin story. Was like, yeah. So I was seriously hurt, and everyone just kind of laughed and screamed and ran around, and
I was a good
couldn't
kid.
even get a golf cart
until I got a hole
me
in
off
my
the playground.
It's crazy, man. It was crazy.
Kid named Dallas. I'll never forget him, man. He was just sitting there laughing. Sitting there fucking laughing at me, man. He was screaming.
Yeah, when you threw your perfect game, he was like, that motherfucker. I remember the hexagon day. He was just screaming, laughing about it.
He calls himself the Hexagon now.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, Big Hexy. Wherever you're at, I hope you've been able to walk that off, because I at the time, 8-year-old Dal, thoroughly impressed with your ability to stay calm in the moment.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Hex, Big Hexy.
Shout out to Big Hexy. He absolutely cemented his Stockton legend that day.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can too with Underdog. Because Underdog just dropped their playoff basketball promo. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost, and you're going to want to see how serious it gets when that Game 7 hits. And we're hoping we don't get a Game 7 right now. Let's get this done in 6, Jake.
Yeah, 6 games should clear it up.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Hop on Underdog, the best place to make picks during playoff basketball. Get started right now. And make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. As promised, it's Thursday, which means that Family Feud,
that's right,
hath returned. I'm very excited for that.
Good. So am I.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of do some follow-ups today to previous discussions that we've had throughout the week. Devin Williams last night looked pretty good. That's a big series win for the Yankees, by the way. That's a good San Diego Padres team that came into town. Some tightly contested ball games between the two sides. And I know that, if you are a casual observer, if you're just a league follower, baseball is a regional sport, you have your favorite team, maybe it's not the Yankees. Maybe you saw the highlight of Devin Williams screaming coming off the mound, punching out Xander Bogaerts with the bases loaded. Well, the bases were only loaded because he walked them loaded. So I would like to provide that context to the dialogue, just because, Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna have the conversation about Devin Williams being back, I'm not there yet. But he didn't blow the game. Did not blow the game. So
He
should
got the
be
win,
noted.
actually, right?
Yeah, scavenger win.
If you're into pitcher wins, yeah.
Where did
It's all right.
he just go?
He punched out the side, right? Didn't he punch out the side?
He did.
Yeah.
Had to hit back.
Well, it's the best possible thing that could have happened for Devin Williams was that. And whether it's a combination of both, like, why am I in this situation? Self-inflicted. But how do I get out of it? I've got to bear down. I mean, if you're looking for little positives, just looking for a little silver lining, that's something. That's it. Because, I mean, it was just a couple days ago where he couldn't get out of the inning. It turned disastrous. Like, it just not good. So incremental baby steps, right? Baby steps. I mean, that's really all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Happy for him. You know, he didn't ask to be there. You know, he doesn't want to be a Yankee. This is a guy that was forced into a situation that he doesn't want to be in. He's trying to make the best of it. And it's not going well, but that is the situation. He's trying to make the best of it.
He's working.
I think my dog is just behind the couch right now, or the chair. That's
He'll
just
be fine.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
He's having a blast. You know, Devin Williams, not so much, but
No.
you know, Ace, he's loving it. The Seattle Mariners, the last time that they lost a series was, I want to say, the second week of April. Does that sound right, Jay?
Yeah.
9 straight series. Yeah.
9 straight series wins. A lot has changed in the world since the last time the Seattle Mariners lost a series. But did we underrate the Mariners? Did we underrate the Mariners coming into the season? Like, is this going to be one of those teams, like when we talk about, oh yeah, like the American League, like it's the Yankees and you know, there's no standout. There's going to be no powerhouse team. Are we not talking Seattle here?
No. If anything, at least one of us is guilty of potentially overrating the Mariners, because remember, the Mariners are the team that I have making a very, very, very deep postseason run. And a lot of it had to do with thinking that the pitching staff was going to just do what you expect them to do. And that by virtue of where they'll be in the standings, because the division might not be as spoken for as it has been in years past, that would force the front office's hand into doing something, into being competitive. And I can tell you right now, after the Mariners left town, getting to chop it up with those guys, they loved the sentiment. They loved the idea that there's folks who feel like they'll be good enough to sort of force the decision makers to push their chips in the middle and have to make a decision to supplement what it is the Mariners are doing. The question is, will the offense be able to sustain the competitive level of production that they're getting? Because that's all you have to do, is match up with a great pitching staff and give your team, which the offense, we usually talk about this from a pitching perspective, giving your team a chance to win the ball game. The offense has to be able to show up and score 3 runs, because there's going to be a lot of times where that pitching staff is going to put you in a spot where if you can score 3 total runs, that could hold up. You're going to have a chance to win the game.
To me, what's interesting about the Mariners is just why they have been a great team. And like, yeah, Dallas outlined that the reason to be super optimistic about them entering the year was the starting rotation that some people thought was the best in baseball. But that's been missing 2 of its most important contributors, one since the start of the season in George Kirby, and one for a decent chunk of what's been obviously a very small part of this season in Logan Gilbert. Like, those are their 2 most important pitchers. If you were to rank them prior to the start of the season, they were Cy Young candidates, and they have been unavailable for huge chunks of the season. And yet we're still talking about the Mariners being, you know, the most dominant, the most consistent, the best team in the American League. And I think it's because, I mean, did we underrate them? I don't know. I think everybody here picked them to win the division, so I'm inclined to say no. I don't think they're going to be a 110-win team, so I don't think we underrated them in that sense. But I think everyone on some level was guilty, this podcast and nationally, of underrating the offense. And like, some of this stuff isn't going to last, but you can credibly say they have been maybe the best maybe the second best, certainly an elite level offense through the first 6 weeks of the season. No one would have guessed that prior to the start of the year, I don't think. But that's what they've been. And yeah, Jorge Polanco is not going to continue to slash what he's doing.
But he's the second best player in the American League right now, Jay.
Right.
Whoa.
What do you got?
Alex Bregman, maybe?
Oh, that's cute. I mean, he's swinging it well right now, but like,
let's not get derailed.
We'll get there.
But the point is that like Cal Raleigh has turned into one of the very best players in the American League, just players. He is a legitimate MVP vote getter at this point. And I think the sort of stuff you're seeing from the supplementary guys, like JP Crawford, for example, this season looks a lot more like what he gave in 2023 than his disastrous 2024. And if he's back to being 2023 JP Crawford, like that's a 4 or 5 win player. And he's well off on that pace this season. And like, I know Jared said on the last podcast, there's an extended conversation to have about Julio Rodriguez at some point, and that's a nuanced conversation. But the bottom line on Julio Rodriguez is that he's still really, 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 really good, and maybe still awesome when you look at the whole package. And like that, he has delivered on that overall, even if the offense has not been there. I just think like, if you look at context neutral stats, they have been the second best offense in baseball so far. And I think there's reason to buy into that them as a top 5 or 6 offense more than there is to be skeptical of it moving forward. Look at that cute guy.
I agree. He agrees.
Is that the easiest way to pod from at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. He'll go to sleep. I think that the Julio Rodriguez conversation is not necessary today, as we are praising the Seattle Mariners. That's more of a downer. That if you're a Mariners fan, you'd be like, how much better could it be? It could be much, much better. You could be
significantly
looked
better
at as the heavy favorite out of the American League. Like all the other American League teams certainly have their flaws. But to everyone else's point, the Seattle Mariners 5th in Major League Baseball in OPS. I don't know that we were wrong. That's the thing. Like, I don't know that we were wrong. Like the Mariners offense, I think once we get to the end of this thing, I think we will be proven correct. But to start the season, sure. Yeah, they've proved us wrong. But what, who had them as a top 5 offense?
No, I don't think anybody had them as a top 5 offense, but I think there has been a reputation attached to the Mariners offense that it has been, and it mostly has been below average or really bad for an extended period of time. But I think that started to turn last season, and it took some people time to recognize that. And now, granted, it is on a different level so far this year, but like, I don't know. Like, I just look at the people who are doing the contributing so far to the very good offense, and I'm like, and what role those people play in the offense. And I don't know. I think it's more real than it's not. Like, who are the most important people here? Julio, Raleigh, Randy, like a Rosarena, Crawford. What? I guess Polanco at this point. And
all right, let me ask you this.
But
this question,
two out of those names right there in Julio and Randy underperforming at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think Julio offensively purely is underperforming. I'm not sure what the exact shape of the Rosarena production we should all be expecting is, but like to me, a 377 on base percentage, that's it. That might be underperforming to some degree because I know the batting average and power are out, but like at least he's contributing. And to that point, if you think he's underperforming, like that's only reason to buy in more moving forward, right? Because you feel like you're going to get more from him maybe than you've gotten to this point. I don't know. I just look at them and the Rangers, and I feel like there's 2 separate reputations as it relates to that offensive potential. And I don't see them as different. I think the Mariners. Well, I do. I think the Mariners just might be a better offense moving forward, and obviously to this point.
So, where do you think they finish in OPS, team OPS? If they're at 5th right now, it's the last day of the season. Where are they?
I think they will probably be towards the back half of the top 10 by the time the season's over. But, if like, obviously they play at a park that is generally more punishing to offense than it is otherwise, like weighted runs created, they're second in baseball right now, tied for second with the Dodgers. That to me gives them even more room to come down a little bit and still be a top 5, top 6 type of offense. I'm really buying what they're doing, and I think their front office has proven that they're going to be aggressive in adding pieces or tinkering with the team as needed moving forward. And given how we feel about the rotation, that's kind of exciting what it could mean for an addition for the offense or the bullpen.
Yeah, and
Dallas?
and well, no, I'll say this without giving too much away. I've got a good relationship with some folks that are decision makers there, and just kind of kicking it around the cage. That was kind of, and I shared my opinion, and the response that I got was met with a wry smile and sort of just like let's see how the summer goes.
What was your
See how the
opinion?
summer goes. What's that?
What was your opinion?
The World Series.
Oh, what I've shared here, that their hand was going to be forced, that you're going to have to make a decision at some point in time. And how I put it was, I think the boys on the bump, we can roll up, we can wake you up every 5th day, and you got a pretty good idea of what you're going to get there. And if that sustains over the summer, especially with how it's going right now, without 2 of your horses, you get 2 of your horses back. And I identified a couple guys in the lineup. Maybe I just mentioned them right now, that when they start to heat up, those are 2 guys who I don't want to say can carry an offense individually, because I don't know that we've seen that yet. But these are 2 guys who can make that offense look completely different when they start swinging the bat well. And if that's the case come the middle of the summer, and they're in the position they're in right now or close to this same position, maybe have created a little separation, feel like we could see some movement.
I mean, Fangraphs has them at 63 to win the division right now and 83% to make the playoffs. And I'm not saying we've all experienced, Mariners fans specifically have experienced, the Mariners' slow collapses after fast starts during this kind of like, we never make the postseason couple of decades. But I think if you look objectively at the rosters of the other teams, you don't have to fear the Astros the way that we have traditionally feared them in terms of come from behind potential. And if the Athletics, the Astros, and the Rangers are roughly the same talent level, which I think is closer to true than not, then I think the Mariners can feel pretty good about where they stand and their ability to leverage their current spot to further press the situation by additions moving forward. I think they're in a fantastic position.
Yeah. And honestly, just to put a bow on it, the one thing that could potentially derail the Mariners' road to where they want to be in the division is the fact that the Athletics are no longer just the rollover bucket series for them. Now, did they just take the series? Yes, they did. Was it extremely hard fought the last 2 games? We're talking extra inning, big moment type battles back and forth the entire ball game. So it wasn't just a walk into town, smack somebody across the face, take their lunch money, and just kick their ass for 3 days. That's not what happened. And that for the past few years has kind of been how it's gone for the Mariners. They've just been able to circle the green and gold and go, yep, W. See you next week.
Jay, hey, if you still have the Fangraphs page open, can you tell us in terms of the division odds, where are they? Like, I know that you've gave I'm saying, do they have the highest of any division? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. The Yankees are higher right now per Fangraphs at 68.5% to win the division. Mariners 62.9, Tigers 59.5. That's how the AL looks. NL, Dodgers 83, Cubs 65, Mets 40. So they're actually right in the kind of the middle of, they're behind the Yankees and the Dodgers and Cubs right now for division odds. But it's all very kind of muddled in that middle non-Dodgers territory.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. But yeah, no, that's very exciting. Very exciting times in Seattle. They deserve it. Not just because they waited forever, but I think also because once they got there the first time, which I believe was 2022? Was it 22 or 23?
Who, the
22.
Mariners?
You're saying when they made
Yeah.
the postseason? 22.
22. So they got there in 2022. And Jake and I in the building, standing for 18 goddamn innings to see 0 runs scored. So it's almost like the streak is still going. Because yes, they got there, but no, I would say the most exciting moment that happened was Felix Hernandez coming out to throw the first pitch. So
Pretty sweet.
yeah,
Pretty
they got to
sweet.
get
Shout
back
out-
and they got to do something this time.
Shout out
Anything.
Andres Munoz. That guy's
Holding
been
it down in the
absolutely-
back end.
Oh, buddy, is he? I think he's 13 for 14 save opportunities.
It's pretty good.
Just one blemish, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
fucking like 20. What did I see? 25 punch outs in 18 innings or some shit.
That's cool. You see my boy Chappy last night?
guys
No, I
boys now?
was.
Assless Chaps, yeah.
No, what was this? A day game? Was it a night? I was traveling.
It's the night game through the fastest pitch in baseball this year. Fastest pitch in Red Sox record. It's recorded history, but it's obviously history. Like no one was throwing harder than that before they started recording. I think it was 2008 or whatever. Yeah, no one was throwing faster than that. So fastest pitch in Red Sox history last night.
What?
104.
103? 104?
104.
It is kind of crazy. I know nobody likes to like praise Aroldis Chapman or give, him any sort of credit, which is totally fine. But it is kind of crazy from a once in a lifetime kind of physical talent standpoint that at 37 years old, he's
Still
throwing the way that he is. It is indistinguishable, in fact, harder than he used to throw in what would have been normally considered his prime.
Yeah.
Well, and he's like there's a lot of, he would be an interesting case study because how many times has he had physical injuries, physical ailments that have
Not many.
prevented him for any extended period of time
The
doing his job?
only time I can remember him having something physical happen where he couldn't compete was he shit his pants and
The
a
tattoos.
tattoo got infected.
He got his foot tattooed.
Yeah, let me see.
But like as far as like any sort of major structural issues,
No,
nothing.
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 It's all been banged up stuff. Like, as best I can tell, there's nothing that was like it requires massive surgery, at least to his arm. Unless Jared finds something else, I'm not seeing anything.
No, that's why I asked, because I can't remember a single thing outside of the tattoo. Jared brought up his diarrhea or whatever it was.
his diarrhea or whatever.
He
pooped his pants.
Just from a usage standpoint, outside of the COVID 2020 season, there is no season on his resume that includes anything less than, I believe it's 36 innings pitched, other than his debut season. So that would lead you to believe that there's, that alone.
Yeah, and think about it, like he's again, I'm with you, Jay, on the whole, giving him credit and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He actually was able to weather the usage storm as well, right? Because Joe Madden, just rode your boy, rode him, and he came out on the other end relatively unscathed.
The website that I usually use for this is not working as of right now, so whatever. But yeah, I don't recall him ever. It's always just been like disciplinary or him walking out on his own team, things like that.
Yeah, just normal stuff.
Yeah, just the old pants pooping, tattoo infection, walking out on your team. Yeah, no lat strain,
That's
Yeah.
the
no
triple crown.
oblique. Yeah, pretty good. I'm happy for him.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. On the subject of the Red Sox, I know Dallas very stupidly referred to someone else as the MVP runner-up in the American League. That was
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
Second best player.
No. Let's see. Who
Wait,
is,
you're just gonna throw out some tired war argument and let that be that? Yeah.
No, I mean, Jay, hey, can you back me up here on a statistical side-by-side comparison between the two players? Because Alex Bregman right now, 2.3. And I know that you guys like Bobby Witt Jr.,
Are you starting
right?
with WAR? Oh, are you going to throw out some bullshit WAR argument? No. Jay, hey, 2.3 WAR of a nerd. No, beat it.
No.
And Bregman's got what? Almost 2 weeks more worth of ball games under his belt than Polanco does?
Oh, please, buddy.
Fact.
Alex
You can
Bregman,
ignore it, but it's fact.
Alex Bregman leading the league in doubles with 15.
Great doubles.
Great doubles. He has 9 home runs. He's hitting 327.
Tied with
He gets on base at a
327.
401
That's
clip.
less than
612.
Polanco.
612 slug. That's a 1013 OPS.
Oh, slug.
An
That's
OPS
not as good as
plus of
Polanco's.
181. I don't know. That feels pretty good.
That's cute. It's not 222 like Polanco's, but it's cute. You're right.
I mean, Polanco's played like 5 games.
No, like that was my whole point. Is Polanco has produced better in a smaller amount of opportunity.
That's less valuable to me, you know?
Well, to you, sure, because that doesn't fit your narrative. But if we're just looking at it objectively and the truth,
yeah, no, I am looking at it
man,
objectively. Yeah, and what I've
like
walked
Polanco,
away from it is that 2.3 WAR is better than fucking 1.3 WAR. He's full win better, Dallas. I'm sorry, but you lose the argument.
So,
Jay,
so the argument that you weren't going to make is
Jay,
the one
Jay, would you like to step in
you
here?
have to stand
Jay, would you
on.
like to tell Dallas that he's wrong?
Nope. I think that's Jake's job here.
Yeah.
Jake,
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Just sounds like second best hitter in the American League type numbers to me.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
numbers don't lie, Dallas.
No, they don't. And I think
Alex
all the numbers that
Bregman-
we've rattled off here tell a really
Alex
good story.
Bregman tied with Bobby Witt Jr. for the second best wins above replacement in the American League. You got Fernando Tatis Jr. at 2.5, but it's Aaron Judge in a stratosphere by himself. And then the next guy in
Fernando
line
Tatis Jr.'s got the best WAR in the American League.
That's
Second
not what I
best WAR?
said. That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said I noted in terms of the major league rankings, but I said
didn't hear that.
Bregman is second in the AL, tied with Bobby Witt Jr.
Mhm.
And Aaron Judge is in a stratosphere of his own. But as far as second best in the American League goes, yeah, I think it's Alex Bregman.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, the WAR number, if that's what you're going with, if that's the
I'm
one
going with all of it.
statistic you want to go with,
I'm going with all of
go
it.
for it.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah, I
cited
think
home
he-
runs. Polanco is tied for that.
I think we
Polanco
should-
Polanco's got a better batting average if you want to
should
jump
do a-
on that train.
You know what?
Slugging
Batting
better,
average.
OPS
Hold
is
on.
higher, OPS
Oh, I'm
plus
sorry.
is higher.
I didn't know I was talking to Peter King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jay, hey, would you like to share your opinion with the class?
Oh, I think at the end of the day, I probably would assume that Jorge Polanco and Alex Bregman are happy for each other.
But if you were to say that there was a prestigious second best player in the American League award, who are you voting for? They're giving you the BBWAA calls you up. They say, Justin Havens, man, we're a big fan of BID. We
Thank
love
you
the
so much.
nugs. We love the
you.
Baines meter. We love all of it. We love your Twitter, everything that you're putting out there. We want to give you a vote for the first ever highly prestigious second best player in the American League award on May 8th. Who you got?
Oh man, thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate you listening. Obviously, I'm just trying to tail off my buddies, Dallas and Jared. They're great dudes. Jake's
And not
a
to
great
interrupt
producer,
you or
but,
anything,
yeah.
but if
Not
you
to
do well
make
on
this
this vote,
more
if
about
you
my
do well
pitch.
on this vote, Justin
This is-
Havens, we're going to
this
give
is
you
cringe.
a vote for MVP and Cy Young this year.
Oh man,
Cringe.
if I do well, I have to ask
Yeah.
you, as presumably you're calling me as an unbiased kind of administrator of the vote. I'm wondering what do well means in your
Well, I mean, if your
no,
vote is in
I
the
think it's
majority
obvious
of the
what do well
votes,
means.
Yeah.
like if your vote is kind of in the vast majority of the other voters,
That's
like you guys are
considered good?
all agree. Yeah. Vast
Oh.
majority of the vote. Yeah. So if you do well, then we can give you a Cy Young.
I didn't know- I
we
didn't
can
know
give you an MVP. We can give you a Rookie of the Year, whatever you want.
Oh, man.
Whatever
Just
you
gonna-
want. There's keys to the kingdom if you nail this vote.
What about a Lamborghini?
And a Lamborghini if you want.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Courtesy of Robert Francis Manfred Jr. Esquire III.
good. Well, this is very exciting. I do feel like he owes me a little. I am going to give you the right answer, and the answer is Bobby Wood Jr. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Wow. So there's not going to be a Lamborghini in your future, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I
We
told my
here
wife
at the
we were
league
getting
office, and the BBWAA in Cooperstown, New York, we feel like you didn't nail this one. So thanks for participating in the exercise, and we wish you the best of luck in whatever it is that you choose to do for the rest of your career, because obviously it shouldn't be baseball commentary.
Well, no. It's tune into the Baseball is Dead podcast because you said you were a fan, and I know you were being genuine.
Big fan of Jared's opinions.
Oh,
yes.
no.
Mhm.
I thought it was the Nugs.
Well, he has some information
I mean, Bobby
too.
Bobby Wood Jr. has the same amount of WAR.
Yeah,
as
but he
Alex
doesn't have
Bregman.
more than like anything else that Alex Bregman has. Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't make sense because Polanco's better in several other categories than Bregman.
But
is.
like on a rate basis, we're talking counting stats. It's kind of
that's the caveat for you. These certain statistical categories is where Bregman is better, so that will win out. Oh,
not to spin it
they
forward
mean more
necessarily, but I am interested to see what this level of contentiousness between the two of you does to the Family Feud stuff. Because you guys got to work together for that.
No, we'll get back on the same page, but it's just we don't agree. We don't particularly agree on this.
No, it doesn't seem like you agree. But that's why I've come down right in the middle, as I always do, and I identified the right answer, and I said, there it is. And it's you guys can both chew on it a little. Yeah.
I would never let my friend, like at dinner, if you got a little smuts on his, I'd never let him walk around public like that. And right now, I feel like my friend has like a butthole right in the middle of his forehead.
Yeah.
I just don't want him to walk around.
Well,
looking like an asshole.
Here's what Dallas is doing, because I'll give Jay Hay some credit here. Like, I think if we're deciding between the second best player in the American League, the options are Bobby Wood Jr. and Alex Bregman. Like, basically what just happened here is Jake was like, hey, best Canadian artist of all time. And I'm going Justin Bieber. Jay Hayes going Celine Dion.
I'm going
and
Ryan
then Dallas
Dempster.
is like, Michael Bolton. We're like, that wasn't an option. That was not an option.
Ryan Dempster. That's my
musical artist.
Yeah.
Does he play music?
Are you not privy to Ryan Dempster's musical abilities? That's your fault. Someone's not a Canadian music fan. Exposed. Wow, hand up. Who doesn't take in the Canadian tunes? You. Oh,
Ryan Dempster plays music.
Wrong side of history here for Jared. This is unfortunate. Hate to see this.
I'm going to call him right now.
Call him.
I'm gonna.
Didn't Al Gore have a president or a scandal because he used "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet" or something like that, and that was done by a Canadian band?
I'm calling him right now
for his campaign song. That was.
I just remember Al Gore, like the whole internet thing, right? Like he invented the internet.
Yeah.
He's gonna be very confused. Maybe is he doing intentional talk right now?
Turner Overdrive.
BTO. My first concert.
Nothing yet.
Baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet.
Hello?
Ryan Dempster.
Yo.
Jared Carabas.
Jared, what's up, dude?
So I'm having a conversation with my pal Dallas Braden right now. We're recording our podcast, and we just had a conversation about best Canadian musical artists.
Yeah.
The names Justin Bieber came up.
Yep.
Celine Dion.
Okay.
And Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
And Dallas Braden interjects.
I'm the Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
Dallas Braden interjects here and says Ryan Dempster. And I said, I know Ryan Dempster, Canadian, but are we talking musical artists as well?
I have sang in front of 57,000 people at Soldier Field with Kenny Chesney. I mean, that was pretty good, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Can we get like a
fucking winner?
That's one. Do you want me to start going down the list? A pretty good chance to
do it, Dip. Do it, Dip.
I mean, there's been the occasional Jake Peavy and I at Innings Fest. What else? Let's throw a few else out there. Yeah. I'm singing with a tribute band May 17th. I'm musically inclined, but not that gifted. But I'm getting there, you know.
Okay. Do you have like a favorite?
And by the way, I'm honestly like surprised I'm still on this phone call after neither of you guys threw out the Tragically Hip, arguably the great documentary on Netflix too. By the way,
what documentary?
The Tragically Hip documentary.
What
Gord Downey and the Tragically Hip.
I don't even know what that is.
The Tragically Hip they are arguably within Canada. So like Celine Dion, Canadian, yes, to the States, right? Like Justin Bieber to the States. Within Canada, while the Tragically Hip would tour around the U.S. and sell out like 2 to 3,000 person venues, they were doing 20,000 a seat up in Canada, Windsor, Ontario. Okay. Every hockey player is like, if you ask a Canadian hockey player favorite Canadian band, they're going to be like Tragically Hip.
Okay, well, I mean, they never made it across my radar. Apparently, I mean, I'm a big Celine Dion guy myself. Grew up on Celine Dion, but
you never,
like, if
you had never even heard of the Canadian music artist Ryan Dempster. So how is Tragically Hip going to make it across your desk?
You know.
That's insane to say. I mean, no one's more familiar with Ryan Dempster than me, but I would like
the Guess Who, Jared. You know, like the Guess Who sitting there, which arguably a great, what people think is an American song, American Woman, is actually by a Canadian band, the Guess Who.
There you go. Okay, I like that. That's a nice.
You're getting a full Detroit. You didn't realize you were enrolling in music college.
No, I truly didn't. Do you have like a go-to? Like it's like open mic night. Ryan Dempster's on the mic. Like what song are you bringing the house down with?
Currently,
yeah.
Like if I'm stopping at a bar here in Chicago, currently probably "Lose Control" by Teddy Swims.
Okay.
Yes. But if I'm gonna throw back "Ruth My Way" by Sinatra. Okay. I could pretty much go anywhere. I'm into the Red Clay Strays right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually singing with my buddy Johnny Vincent here in town. So
there you go. Yeah. All right, you learn something new every day. I think at some point I would love to be in person for a Ryan Dempster musical performance.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should do.
Yeah. Do you sing?
I don't sing. I play bass.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
You come over and jam on Tommy Ramone's Dee Dee's bass guitar that Theo gave me.
Yeah, there you go.
He goes one day, I go, hey, my son's trying to pick up bass guitar. Do you have any downstairs? He goes, go down and grab the one off the wall. Keep it. Dee Dee Ramone's. I'm like, fucking in. Let's go.
Unbelievable.
Done.
Yeah.
Wow. Love that. All right. I guess we start like, because Dallas Braden, I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he looks like Animal from the Muppets. So we could probably teach him how to play the drums.
That's not
and
true.
then we can have lead vocalist Ryan Dempster. I can play a little bass. We just got to find a guitarist, and then we can probably.
Jake Peavy.
Jake Peavy plays guitar. Yeah, Jake Peavy. Yeah. Bronson Arroyo also playing some guitar these days. A ton of guitar.
The 04 band. Fucking Bronson played Black at Fenway Park with Eddie Vedder at Pearl Jam. Like that's another level.
Yeah.
I sang one set of lyrics and the chorus to Back Where I Come From at Soldier Field with Chesney.
That's pretty badass. Nice. I played a couple songs with Bronson. He taught me one of his songs, which is a lot. You would think to learn a song that you've never heard before on the spot, you would think that that's like a difficult task. Not that difficult.
We got a couple bar changes.
Yeah.
Few chord riffs. So.
Yeah, we were ready to rip. All right, so we basically have the groundwork here for a baseball themed musical event that we can host somewhere.
Dude, when you come down to spring training, come down to Arizona, and if you're there at the end of April, for both of you guys, if you're there at the end of April, end of February, Innings Fest, come out. You're my guest. You don't have to get tickets. I got you tickets. Come on out, check it out. We always have to. Like we had Cole Tucker on, by the way. He's Tucker, absolutely
really good drummer.
Fucking shreds on the drum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Him and Bobby Dahlbeck plays guitar, and him and Cole Tucker, they jam all the time. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I would love that.
That's a good bit. Best all around band of former baseball players.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, if you have the cymbals, like I crush the cymbals. If you got a triangle, I fucking dominate the triangle. Or if we're just looking for a hype man, I'm definitely the dude like towel, t-shirt off, waving it around. Like we can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
He's Bruce Dickinson, the cock of the walk. You know what I mean?
I'm into this. I like
More
this.
cowbell. Yeah. Dude will get you up on stage playing some cowbell. It'd be great.
Oh yeah,
Done.
He would be a perfect cowbell guy. He's like the monkey with the cymbals is basically what's going on in his brain half the time. So I feel like he could just replicate that on stage. We'd be cooking with gas, Demp.
His brain, it works a lot like mine. I know this. There's a great. I was watching with my wife the other day. There's a great bit where Robin Williams is on James Lipton, and James Lipton asks him if his brain moves faster, and he goes and does this 5-minute monologue. It's worth the watch, and he goes, "Now I'll slow down so the rest of you can catch up." That's how I imagine Dallas's brain.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's fairly accurate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great call, Dib. Great call.
So good.
All right. Thank you for the impromptu appearance. We're gonna have to do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys go get it. All right, man. Have some fun. Hey, good. Thanks for the phone call too. Made my day.
Anytime. All right. Check out Ryan Dempster and Kevin Millar on Intentional Talk with Ciara Santos. Yes,
You got
every
it.
day on MLB Network. Thank you so much.
Watch that Tragically Hip documentary. You'll love it.
I will. Text me and remind me because I'll forget.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep up.
Later.
Bye.
Ryan Dempster, everybody.
Ryan Dempster, Canadian music artist.
Legend.
So
World
you're
Series
welcome.
champion. Ryan Dempster.
Yeah, exactly. How many rings does Celine have? Huh? How many rings does Bieber have? How many rings does that no talent ass clown Michael Bolton have?
Why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks.
He's the one who sucks. The fuck? Michael Bolton?
Well, one of these days you're going to be able to purchase tickets to our concert on Game Time. I know that. Because Game Time makes getting tickets even easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that it gets to the first pitch. They have killer last minute deals, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. I am very excited about the fact that I would like to make a trip out to Sacramento. I don't want to put it in concrete. I don't want to etch it in stone or whatever. But all right, let me ask you this question, Dallas.
Somebody just asked me. They were like, "Hey, is Jared? Are you guys going to come out? Is he going to come out at the end of the year? Because I know you guys are going right back to Boston. Like they come out and then you guys go right to them. So
Yeah.
is that something? Is that something that's going to happen?
Is this weird to say that I'd rather go there not for a Red Sox game? Like I'd rather just like wander and enjoy the ambiance than like be locked in?
No, not at all. Because I understand why you want to go, and then I understand why having the Red Sox there would mentally block you from being able to absorb what you're looking to absorb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it makes total sense to me.
Second question. If I go to this ballpark, do I get to check off another big league ballpark on my list, or does this count?
Well, no.
It doesn't count.
No, I mean that would be like saying I can check off like the stadium that they built at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Like I can't.
But they're playing a full season. It's a little different than like a special series.
No, I understand. It's still it doesn't.
And they're going to be there for what? A couple of years at least, right?
Yeah, 3, maybe 4.
Right. So I think it counts, J.A.
I think it counts, but I also don't think it counts against someone who is accumulating going to all of the stadiums. You can't hold it over them that they never made it to Sacramento during the window that they played.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
That's fair. So yeah, so if you were somebody who's checked off all 30 already, like I've checked, okay, this is just another one. It's not, if you have 29 in the book and you haven't been to Philly yet, but you've been to Sacramento, well, you don't have all 30 parks per se. You still need Philly, but you have this extra one.
Yeah, like on my list, I have 25 big league ballparks seen, but I still have 7 remaining. Technically now 8 if we're counting Sacramento. So it's like, there's 30
9.
big league teams. But
technically 9. Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
How long are they going to be there for?
I don't know. I wouldn't even I can't even speculate. I have no idea because I don't know if there's, hey, we're rebuilding this place. We're going to redo it. I know very early on there was a conversation about, moving the location, and I have no idea. I've got shit out here I got to worry about. Godspeed to those folks and the team and the franchise. I appreciate them as part owner, but I hope it's figured out.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna count it, just because I'm not like, when I'm done, I'm not gonna finish at 30. Like I'm gonna end up finishing at like 38 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm gonna count it, and when I do, I'm gonna get those tickets with the Game Time app. Last minute deal: save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Save even more when you choose a section you like. Game Time chooses seats for you. The fees are included, so you can know your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy your tickets, and the lowest price guarantee. Your Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is also covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I think what I'm probably going to do, Dallas, is wait for a Slab Lab shoot that with a guy that like I want to meet, and then I'll just fly there with Emond.
There you go. Yeah, we've got some stuff percolating. We just sat down with one of the outstanding arms in that Seattle Mariner rotation. So that's already in the lab cooking.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who that I haven't met could get me to fly across the country to meet them.
I don't know. You ever met Hunter Brown?
No. I was thinking of a different Hunter.
Hunter Green?
Yeah. I would fly across the country for Hunter Green.
Yeah. The preliminary effort starting to roll, starting to mount up. Just dropping a little reminder. Hey buddy, I was there day one when you got drafted. I was in the room. High-fived you, we hugged, celebrated. It was a good time.
I even though
Just
there's
imagine
already a
Dallas crashing to like give him a hug, like being pulled off.
Even though I've already been in his physical presence many times and we've already, exchanged many a complimentary message with each other, I would fly across country for Tyler Glasnow right now. I would do anything for him, I think.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah. I mean, that could very well, that's probably something that happens at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. I mean, he's very like cerebral and open to talking about his craft in a very educated but consumable way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have one dropping very soon with, I think I can give it away, with Jack Leiter. And I was enthralled the entire time. Like just kept asking questions because the information just kept coming. It was a really, really fun conversation about the craft. It was a lot of fun for me. And it became, for me, what you'll notice there is he is speaking about things in a way that it takes a lot of other guys years of professional experience and then maybe even big league experience to start to wrap their head around some of the concepts. And it became very obvious very quickly. And it's nothing I didn't expect. You were raised by a big leaguer and by a stud big leaguer. Like you have this DNA coursing through your veins. Like you got a cousin in the big leagues. You got an uncle in the big league. Like it was obvious that this dude has been having high level pitching conversations. Like he was being put to bed with high level pitching conversations.
Yeah. If you did one with Kirsch, I'd hop on a red eye for that.
I don't know that I'd be able to fucking get the questions out.
No. I mean, you already did one with Skeens. That'd be another one. That's a fly across the country guy. DeGrom. So I can't remember I can't remember if it was Jolly Olive or not, but it was one of the John Boy guys that met DeGrom and he like totally big leagued him, which again is total, like, I'm not knocking DeGrom. Like, he has earned his right to big league whoever he wants. But after my David Gilmour experience, I don't think I could handle, flying across the country to meet Jacob DeGrom and then him just being like, fuck off. Like, that would hurt. Yeah, that would hurt. No. I'm already I'm still licking my wounds. I don't need more of that.
We got it on pretty good authority that he just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just doesn't do anything. Like talking to the beat writers is painful, is how it was described to me.
I guess. I mean, like, I think when you're injured, when you're
what he's,
there's like the fuck around and find out graph.
Yeah.
When it's like talent to injury and you're so high on both ends of the spectrum, I wouldn't want to talk to the media either, because I would rather talk about how awesome I am, not how hurt I am all the time.
And that's where I I struggle communicating that to the PR groups because I have so much respect for what they do. I know how difficult their job is. Like I know. And what I don't want to say to them is, I know, but what you're not going to do is explain to him how different this conversation is going to be. We're not going to touch on him being injured. We're not going to hit on, does he feel like he could? That's not what this conversation about. It is purely about, how do you sharpen your tools? What tools do you have?
Yeah.
How do you sharpen those? How did you learn how to sharpen those? It has nothing to do. It has everything to do with how great you are and nothing to do with anything else. Because for everybody that's been a Jacob DeGrom fan growing up, they would love to hear what helped him not only transition from being the athlete in the middle of the diamond to just getting on the mound and being one of the greatest arm talents the game's ever seen. There's so many different avenues to travel down with him. Injury and all that shit is it's never a conversation. And if you've watched any of the Slab Labs, we don't get into that. If they bring it up, sure, we hit on it. I put it like this. We just had a conversation with a guy and he was talking about, how he was in college compared to now. And I just looked at him and then I looked at the camera and I looked back at him and I said, you were awful in college. I mean, god awful. And he goes, I was horrible, fucking terrible. Right. And we just had a quick little back and forth, but that's never the point. That is never the point. It's all about what you're doing right now, what you did then to turn yourself into the animal you are.
Mark Feinsand, who's probably like my favorite MLB writer / reporter that isn't Jeffrey Paisan. I think he's very fair, very balanced, very informed, very well spoken. And he had for MLB.com a piece where MLB execs polled on top deadline trade candidates. And Jay Hay, by the way, shout out to Jay Hay for a minute here, because Jay Hay at some point last year took over the BID rundown assignment of being able to get the right topics for the show. And on top of that, while I was in London on 5 hours behind and in fighting for my life at every turn, was helping me out with my picks. So shout out to Jay Hay. I wouldn't be able to do this job without him. He had this piece from Mark Feinsand thrown in, and it was basically like, hey, who do you think is going to get moved? Going around asking executives, who do you think is the most likely to get moved? Sandy Alcántara, 12 votes. Luis Robert, 5 votes. Nolan Arenado, just 1 vote. And Framber Valdez also got 1 vote. I think it's an overwhelmingly not general consensus, but I think people think Sandy Alcántara is going to get moved. That was a name that got brought up a lot at the beginning of the year, especially in spring training, when every single year you have a slew of pitching injuries during spring training. When Garrett Cole goes down, obviously Sandy Alcántara's name gets brought up. But from what we've seen so far, quite surprising, I would say, to see, everyone's going to be fighting over Sandy Alcántara. If you haven't been, and I don't fault you if you haven't been locked in on Marlins baseball this year. In 7 starts for Sandy, it's been 31 innings. He's allowed 32 hits in those 31 innings and 29 earned runs. He's allowed 6 homers. He's walked 18 compared to 23 strikeouts. That and 4 wild pitches to lead the league. That's an 8.42 ERA. It's only a 5.87 FIP. Don't worry about it. And it's a 1.613 WHIP. The hits per 9, 9.3. The strikeouts per 9, 6.7. The walks per 9, 5.2. It's been a horrendous attempt to get back on the horse for Sandy. That's not to say that by the time the trade deadline rolls around that he might be on a 4-5 start streak where it's like, okay, he's turning a corner. He's getting a better feel for it out there. And he knocked the rust off. He's getting more acclimated to being back out there. That's when you start having the conversations about Sandy being a highly sought after trade piece. But if the trade deadline were tomorrow, I don't think anyone's going to want Sandy Alcántara in their rotation.
Well, no. That's where you have to decide who you are as a team. If because this is an interesting exercise, I think, that you've presented here is what teams could benefit from Sandy, and are we treating it like they're getting the Sandy that he is right now? Because I think you could safely say that if any team looking to compete in the postseason were to plug in the Sandy that we're looking at right now, that could be a step back for them. But the idea is if Sandy continues to, as you said, and as we all talk about, just sort of knock the rust off, right? The farther you get away from the physical ailments, the farther you get away from those injuries, and the closer you get back to who you are becoming, the easier it's going to be to digest bringing on a struggling Sandy Alcántara. And I think that's where you have to start to look is teams now think, because I think there's 2 guys on this list that we've talked about that are huge, prime change of scenery candidates. And Sandy is one of them. Luis Roberts the other.
Yeah.
Like you get these guys in a different environment where winning is expected. What do you got?
It's not good for Dallas.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's not good for me either because I really like the guy. Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like the guy a lot, for being honest. But the Pittsburgh Pirates have fired their manager, Derek Shelton, who I don't like. This is one of those situations where I talked about it the other day with the Red Sox situation, where the Red Sox are underperforming and the sentiment is fire Cora. And it's like, well, will that actually help? And in the Pittsburgh Pirates situation, you fired Derek Shelton. Is that going to make the Pirates better? Is that going to light a fire under their team? I don't think so. It's roster construction. It is spending the money to actually put a good team on the field. It's cutting bait with players where it's like, this isn't really working and you're not a long-term piece. So why are we allocating plate appearances to this guy when we could be trying out a different method? I mean, I don't agree with the firing. I think Shelton was, I think he was the right guy for, I don't want to call it a shitty situation, but not a great situation with the way the Pittsburgh Pirates were constructed this year. Well, right guy, shitty situation. I don't know that this is going to right their course. It's not a team that was constructed in a way where we're winning this year, and if you can't win, then you're out. I don't agree with it.
And I think some would agree that you could say that any sort of success and any sort of sustained success was almost going to be in spite of some of the decisions that are being made, right? If we're going to win ball games, it's because we in this immediate group of people, meaning on-field staff and player personnel, training staff, whatever, this is how we're going to win the ball games. Because if the decision makers are not going to put us in a position to, and if the window that we are being presented with some of the talent that we have is not going to force those hands, then we will win these ball games however we can do it, however we can figure it out. And at some point in time, you realize we have to have both groups, meaning the front office and the executive branch, on the same page with the on-field staff and the on-field personnel. And I think what you eventually start to realize, or maybe a path that you find yourself traveling down, is the removal of Shelty something that frees up the decision makers to behave the way that they see fit, as opposed to running into conflict in an area where they no longer want to have conflict. And so what's the best way to do that if you're the decision makers, is to remove the hurdle that you seemingly have to clear every time you're talking to on-field staff, or it comes time to make these decisions. There's somebody in there who's going to fight for the team. There's somebody who's going to fight for the players, who's going to fight for what everybody else is doing. And if you're running the franchise in a way where that's more problematic than it is beneficial, then something like this happens.
Don Kelly, the new manager, bench coach. Bench coach Don Kelly, now the manager of the Pirates.
I mean, I know you guys like Derek Shelton. I have no personal interactions with him, but I think just if you look at where the situation was, this was kind of, unfortunately, not easy to see coming, but it doesn't catch me as particularly surprising, because he got 4 full seasons. He got the partial 2020 season. 60, he got the full, but that was a partial season, and he got this year. And given the trajectory of the team, this is just a case of who else are you going to fire? And that's cliche or whatever, but it is true here. I don't think he's bad, but this is the most, I'll just say it. This is one of the most talent poor major league rosters of the 30 teams in baseball. And we're all excited by Skeens and O'Neal Cruz, and you peel, and then, there's a layer after that, but you peel that back, and this is a really bad situation. Present day, medium term, long term. And if it wasn't for the Rockies and the White Sox, I think that it would be getting a lot more attention. And obviously, the videos you see pop up online are of people booing Bob Nutting, and stuff like that. And you can, if you're reading the temperature of the room or feeling the temperature, it feels like it's excessively negative with the Pirates right now. And eventually somebody's going to pay the price for that, fairly or unfairly.
Dude, I put it like this. Me and Cody, who is a guy who works on A's Cast, he is local in Pittsburgh. He's a Pirates fan as well. Him and I have our connection. And I walked into the press box yesterday, and he looked at me and just kind of cocked his head, and I cocked my head, and he goes, "Bro," and I said, "I didn't like the interview a couple days ago. I'll tell you that." And he was like, "I don't know how much longer it lasts, man. I don't know how much longer it lasts." He goes, "We might not have a manager at the end of the week." And now here we are.
What is he? I know the answer is nothing, but just to defend the guy, it's what the hell are you supposed to do with this? Honestly, what are you supposed to do with this?
Right.
This isn't basketball. Singular players can't carry entire franchises. Paul Skeens, putting aside what I said yesterday, obviously one of the greatest pitchers in the sport right now. He could be as good as he was last year. He could be twice as good as he was last year. This team still wouldn't be in contention for the division. And O'Neal Cruz, in a lot of ways, has taken the steps forward, at least offensively, that they were looking for. And outside of that, and Brian Hayes' defensive excellence, you have almost nothing here.
Right.
Joey Bart's a nice find, man. Joey Bart's a nice find. He's 28 years old.
Yeah. Well, and look, what are we? I'll never speak a bad word about Kutch, but I think we understand.
Of course.
So come on. Like, what are you looking for? What are your expectations? And that's where this conversation starts to take a turn. And I think the arrow starts to point in the only direction it could possibly point. Because if you are making the decisions based, like if you're the one making the roster construction decisions, how do you look at this roster and go, 75, 80 wins? You can't do that.
What was the projected win total at the beginning of the year?
What's that?
What was the projected win total at the beginning of the year?
I think like 65.
Yeah, I was going to say it was pretty low.
Was it in the 60s?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think like maybe high 60s, like a 68, 69, but I don't. Yeah. But my whole point is, and Jay, I think what you're saying, if you have put this together, then what are your expectations, reasonable expectations for the group you've brought together? And if you're getting what you're getting, how do you look at the manager and go, you got to do better? This is not okay. And you just, you can't. I mean, like,
and then if you're a Pirates fan, you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, all right, now fire Ben Cherington. And it's like, don't you think that Ben Cherington is under financial restrictions? Like that he would love to be able to go out and give Paul Skeens an extension and sign this player and that player and trade for this guy and that guy. Well, like he's super restricted. It's a big league job. Yeah. You're going to take it. But I mean, it would be infuriating for me to have a big league job like that, but have an owner like Bob Nutting to need approval from.
This is what happens when front offices find themselves in a position like that, Jared, is you can see all of the talent that you have and you can acknowledge the talent that you don't have. And then from there, you have what the future looks like. This is the trajectory of our club. This is the trajectory of our franchise. That's what a roster does, is it shows you what the future can be like. From there, who's leading this group? Right? I've watched it with Mark Kotze. We're going to watch it unfold with Will Venable in Chicago. And I don't know that there was a different option or a better option than Derek Shelton in this situation, where you're trying to turn the corner as a franchise, and it's going to take some baby steps, but it's going to take a collective effort from both groups. As I said, on-field staff, executive branch. We got it, and that's where there feels like there's a disconnect here.
I mean, their team offensively, when he took over, quote unquote, as manager in 2020, his first full season, offensively, you could go look it up online. I'm not going to pull up everybody there, but the only person that they've added to the team since then that has proven to be anything resembling a core player is O'Neal Cruz. That's it. It's Brian Hayes was already on the team. Brian Reynolds, who has been atrocious this season and may just not really be an asset anymore for them, was also on the team. Everybody else who was a young player at the time has either washed out or it was added since then, and they haven't turned into anything in that interim. So it's like, that's not on Derek Shelton. I'm not implying that it is necessarily, but it's just where they were and where they are now is no closer to winning. In fact, I think you could argue it feels even further away in a lot of ways than it did, 3-4 years ago for the Pirates, despite the addition of one of the game's great pitching talents in the last couple decades.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. When I see like, and I'm saying this as a pitcher, when I see guys like Skeens roll in, we'll get to him. He will be taken care of. I want to be able to take care of him. How do we do that? I have to put people around him, because this is a guy that, for better or worse, I can expect what I can expect out of him production-wise. So if I want to take care of this player and I want him to be a part of our future, I have to be able to have the resources to do that, which money. How do we do that? We win ball games. How do we do that? We bring guys in that can impact the roster, but that can win these games.
But I know we're wrapping the Pirate stuff up, and I actually do want to get back to Alcántara quickly for a second. But like the problem now is that they're actually, you can, if you're the ownership, you can actually justify that you're even further away from winning. And like,
oh yes,
so yeah, you want to build, in theory, you're building a winner around Paul Skeens, what does that even look like now? Like that to me feels so many steps and unfortunately so much money tendered in free agency that this team this team would probably need to spend more money in free agency this coming off season to put a winner around Paul Skeens than the franchise has literally spent in free agency over the preceding 2 decades, right? Like, or just maybe ever. So like it's so many steps away. And I love Kutch too, but that he's third or that he's fourth on the team in plate appearances. And that Brian Reynolds is first and has been below replacement. Like it's just an untenable, and the pitching staff on the whole is in no better shape given some of the injury stuff. But like, it's just, they feel as far away as basically any team in baseball.
It's very depressing. Do you have any like wrap up thoughts on Sandy? Because there was one other story I want to hit before we get to Feud.
Yeah, just real quickly. And maybe we can revisit this once the trade rumors actually heat up. But with Sandy and Luis Robert, like it's just a fascinating player asset evaluation situation for both of those, because the Marlins obviously view Alcántara as the biggest chip that they have to cashier. And it's great that he has come back and the velocity's intact and he's literally healthy. I just don't remember a guy who was coming back from a season-ending injury, was viewed prior to the season starting as maybe the big trade chip that was definitely going to be moved. Like we heard these rumors before the season even started, and has come through the gate with an ERA damn near 9, and he's still leading the list on this thing. And like, that's mostly because, as Feinstein acknowledges, that's because the Marlins are motivated to move him. But finding that middle ground for the acquiring team where they feel like they're getting the right value with what he's owed next season, $21 million, et cetera, and the Marlins are getting a differentiating package for them, just feels like, unless he immediately turns it around, could be one of those really tricky things to find. And then for Luis Robert, it's kind of more straightforward. I feel like you were saying change of scenery. To me, I wonder if the White Sox just straight up missed the window to trade this guy, and that he's a player that maybe makes some people better in a not a part-time role, but in the complementary role, instead of like this mid-prime, like multi-tooled impact player who's like he has a 654 OPS and an 86 OPS plus over 569 plate appearances since the start of last season. And like, yeah, maybe some of that's fixed. That's a lot to ask to be fixed for him to get back to the previous level or anywhere near. And then it's like, okay, what are the White Sox getting back? What's the acquiring team acquiring? So sorry, that's my little spiel there. I just think they're both very, very fascinating trade assets.
Dels, do you have a thought on that?
No, I mean, I agree. I think like, and I know this is almost everybody's default, but like with the, like the Dodgers, they're going to come knocking on the Marlins door. Like, hey, we can take whatever you need. We need some help. So Sandy, sure, we got to roll for him. We've got to roll for him, whether it's starting the game and giving us 3 or 4 and avoiding the third time through, or we're able to pull the chute on him when shit starts to hit the fan. We've got some guys in the bullpen we're comfortable covering multiple innings. Yeah. Like I just think
I was thinking Braves. Once Verdugo shits the bed, and you didn't really replace Morton, Fried.
Dude, what about the Giants? Why were the Giants?
I mean, the Giants, like I said last episode, like Justin Verlander's actually been pitching pretty well. At least like the last 4 starts here. You got your boy Logan Webb out there. Not that you can't. I mean, like Sandy, you've got to see it first. Like it's not like you're saying like, yeah, like we're adding Cy Young contender Sandy Alcántara. Like you're not doing that. Like he's still got to right the ship before a contending team is like, yeah, come on over here, or at least look like there's something to be fixed. Like if it's a complete wash, it's a complete wash. But we'll see. But the Luis Robert situation, I'm on Jay Hay's side with that one, where I think that ship has sailed. I think it's much easier to fix a pitcher than it is to fix whatever the hell is going on with Robert offensively. So we'll see. This last story, at least the one that I wanted to talk about, was the Kris Bryant back surgery. So he described it as pretty intense, but the recovery period's not crazy. He said they actually go into the bone and try to kill the nerves to the vertebrae. So if it's not a crazy recovery, I mean, this is like a chronic back pain type situation for him. I don't know. I mean, like it's not, is it crazy to think that if a chronic back pain situation is cured for Kris Bryant, that at least he can somewhat, like I'm not expecting MVP 2016 Kris Bryant, but like,
yes, it's crazy.
You don't think that he can have a 115 OPS plus if his back pain is cured?
I don't.
You don't think he can be a league average to a slightly above league average bat?
I don't.
You think he's done?
Yep.
Well, he's got 4 years at $26 million per remaining on that 7-year commitment. So,
like, I'll just say this, man. There's people speaking more freely and more freely about his disdain for the situation and things that have gone on, and like it just, yeah. As a player, the first thing I need if I'm in Kris Bryant's situation is the feeling that I can go out and perform physically. If you give me that, then I'm no longer the shell of the player that I once was. I feel like, all right, now I have a chance to do some things that I haven't been able to do here lately. But to what extent does that look like? I mean, he's missed so much time and has been so unproductive that if going through this and him getting back to a certain level of mobility allows him to start knocking on the door of a certain level of productivity, I would want nothing more than that for the player, especially for Kris Bryant, who's had to deal with the idea that, oh, I don't fucking like baseball. I'm terrible. I just basically banished myself to Colorado because they were the ones writing the check. And now we understand how this is played out. So
and this feels like a quality of life decision more than a baseball decision.
1,000%. And if you have to cover it with the veil of, yeah, you know what? We're killing the nerves. Like your inability to feel this anymore. Like, what does that feel like? I can tell you right now, as someone who went into surgery with a bicep tendon and woke up without one, shit feels a little different. Did it hurt as bad? No. Am I capable of doing some of the same shit that I was capable of doing? No, because I just don't have the body part any longer. It's just not there. So if he's not feeling the pain, fabulous. But is his range of motion compromised? Does he not have the ability to feel where he's at in space? Like spine angle retention, a huge part of executing a swing, executing multiple swings, and being able to repeat swings. Spine angle. Major factor in how you're getting to the baseball. So if it feels better for him, I would love nothing more than to see a Kris Bryant who feels like, you know what? I'm back to feeling like I was before this became a chronic issue. Then, man, all the power to him. But do I think that's the case? I don't. Do I think this is something to just basically shore up? Like, honestly, you treat the last 4 years like, all right, what has this game done to my body? How can I get my body taken care of so at the end of this, I can go and function in my life normally?
Yeah. Jay, did you have a thought?
No, I agree with Dallas. I mean, I'm not going to dump on the guy. I'm rooting for him from the quality of life standpoint, but I would be absolutely blown away if he ever got back to a point where he was both the league average player that you're talking about and doing it over any sustained period of time that really registered for it to matter. He's just been literally one of the worst, least productive players in baseball for this being his third straight season. And given why we know that's happening, the idea of him coming back at age 34 or 35, because to me, he's saying it's not a long recovery period. I'm reading the rest of all of this information and thinking, well, that might be true from a broad scope standpoint. From the baseball season standpoint, it really sounds like you're done for the season for sure.
Yeah.
And if then we're talking about coming back in the spring of 26 at 34 plus years old, or even partially through the 26 season, 34, 35, what are we really talking about at that point? How many 35-year-olds who are healthy are even putting up league average seasons, let alone guys coming off of what sound like
Major
legitimately
backs.
debilitating back issues. So no, I think it's over, unfortunately.
Wow. We're not even talking like his season's over. We're talking his career's over. That's what we're talking about right now. That's sad.
Yes, if the question is he ever back to a standard of play where we're talking about him on this podcast like he's doing something that, with all due respect, matters on the national scene? The answer is no. And I don't think he's going to help the Rockies win baseball games ever again either.
That's crazy. That's one of those, like, if you're a Cubs fan listening to this, I mean, I don't know that Rockies fans are tuning in, because if I were a Rockies fan, I don't need more. I don't want to like be drawn to more baseball conversation, because if the Rockies come up on here, obviously it's not a bright and cheery conversation piece. But if you're a Cubs fan listening to this, because I remember, I don't know, like David Ortiz retiring was like a big wow, like that. What an end of an era. It was jarring to have that just come to an end as a baseball fan, as a Red Sox fan. I'm sure there's got to be, mid-30s Cubs fans that it, like, once Kris, because Anthony Rizzo is just sitting on the sideline, like he hasn't announced his retirement, but no one, like, he doesn't have a job. Looks like he's happy being a dad right now. I don't know that he is resuming baseball activity if he knows that it's over, but I mean, I don't think that, if Kris Bryant still has 4 years remaining, like, of course he's going to go through the motions and at least attempt to take the field. So it's not like, you're not going to have that finality moment for quite some time. But as far as Kris Bryant, the productive baseball player, it's got to be, it hits you in a weird way. Like when your guys that you grew up with are no longer doing it, it is kind of it's a jarring feeling.
I feel like we could do a whole off-season pod on the 2016 Cubs and kind of where that situation is now, because I know people get older, and I know it's a blink of an eye, and we are damn near a decade past that championship team.
10 years.
Like, we're coming up on that next year, which makes me feel so goddamn old. But the swiftness with which those players disappeared into the ether of the baseball conversation. And yes, Ben Zobrist was old. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, Dexter Fowler was kind of old. Jason Hayward was a complimentary player already at that point. But like, I don't need to rehash it, but we all know what we were told about that Cubs core and where that was going to take the team, and their half-decade run of dominance coming over the NL and the NL Central. And then next, they were supposed to be what the Dodgers are now in a lot of ways, maybe not from a spending standpoint, but from an organizational greatness standpoint. And then you go back and you look at that team, and it's just unbelievable. Like, yeah, Rizzo's out of the game, but like, Rizzo isn't 40 years old, right? Like, injuries, like, he'd still be a part-timer at this point, or a complimentary player way post-prime. Injuries took him out of the game, like, earlier than they probably should have. The
concussion fucked him.
And his back problems for him too. Like, Kris Bryant was literally the MVP in 2016. We just had the conversation about him. Javier Baez, we've done before. Like, Wilson Contreras, Jorge Soler, those are probably the most relevant players remaining from that team, which is kind of crazy to think about, given
I don't even remember Soler being on the team in 16.
Yeah, and obviously I don't need to give airtime to Addison Russell, but like, Addison Russell was a big part of what was supposed to be going on there too for the future. He was out of baseball for reasons that you can Google. Like, Albert Almora was supposed to be a person who developed into something. Kyle Schwarber, obviously they let go, but has been doing it for other teams since then, and is the best player probably overall from that era of Cubs baseball, but that they told him to kind of take a hike after 2020.
Didn't they non-tender him?
Yeah, he was not
they
particularly
didn't even
good.
Get anything for him.
No, they were not willing. I believe it was not willing to pay him 1 year and basically $8 million-ish.
That's crazy. I think,
history has not proven them to be good on that. The DH also didn't exist at that time. There's a lot of caveats here, but not a great decision in hindsight. No.
The Cubs got destroyed for moving on from essentially that entire World Series team.
They were proven correct.
Yes. Like, still overall, sucks. Yes. I think the Schwarber one is still a huge, huge miss. Rizzo, you could make the case. I don't know what he would have fetched, or what he would have, like, I guess, settled for from the Cubs to stay there. He could have stayed there longer. You know, like he had some good years with the Yankees.
He had one.
One good year with the Yankees?
Yeah, no, he had one. I'm looking at it right now. It was 2022. Like he went to them in the second half of 21. He was fine, and he had a legitimately good season in 22, and then was not really very good or available in 23 and 24. He played a total of 191 games, 800-ish plate appearances, and a 673 OPS. But Rizzo was done playing baseball at 30. Last year was 34. He was done as a good player, no offense, at 32 years old. That is unusual for the type of player we were talking about, for what he meant for that team, who Anthony Rizzo was in the prime of his career, legitimately awesome MVP vote type of player. And it's just, I could go on and on about that Cubs team. I just think it's such a conflicting team for what it meant, obviously for the history breaking element of it and what it was supposed to mean, and then what it ended up not meaning, and the conflict that you bring up about the front office moving on from that team. I was right at the front of the line criticizing them for that decision. It felt soulless. It felt shitty. Yes, if Schwarber's your biggest miss, I think that's on the whole the correct decision then.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Because the big money decisions were nailed correctly. They avoided the Baez contract. They avoided the Bryant contract. And yeah, maybe Rizzo could have been given kind of like a golden parachute type of deal or whatever. And maybe,
right off into the sunset piece.
Yeah. And his prime was well under market. And I get all of that, but cold wise, objectively, they made the correct decisions on the whole.
We have been kicking Cubs fans in the dick this week, and I would just want to apologize for that, because it's not intentional.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. End of an era. There's Cubs fans listening to this right now, just sitting at their desks or whatever they're doing, and just being like, fuck, man, we had it so good. And they still do. It's just a new era. It's a new era. You know, it's like watching your favorite TV show. They call it the same thing, but it's just an entirely new cast. It's okay.
Yeah.
You guys will be all right.
I know.
Let's cheer the people up.
For all the Roseanne fans out there, it's now the Connors, and that's what you get.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
What'd you do, Jay? Jay unplugged his microphone?
A little too excited.
Little equipment malfunction on Jay? Yeah, he ripped his... He got so excited, he ripped his damn microphone out of his laptop.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got too excited. Hold on.
I mean, I like that, though. That's what I want from my game show host, is you're so excited you destroy the microphone when you know it's
where
game
you at
time.
on the scale of excitement? I'm at a breaking shit. That's where I'm at.
Breaking shit.
All right.
Yeah, you got to reselect the microphone, I believe.
You got to leave and come back, Jay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, you got to leave.
Oh, wow.
God, yeah.
Fuck.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, we're back. Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. It's all right.
Oh,
Unreal.
fuck.
Damn.
Don't
do it
just
to him
three
like
red
that.
X's for Jay right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Guy loves it, though. I mean, listen. Where do we go now?
Welcome back to Baseball Is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. Oh, my goodness. Are you guys ready? This would be 4 in a row?
Probably.
I mean, we win so much. I mean, only,
Lose,
that's more for the fans. They keep track of that stuff. You know, it's just another day at the office for us. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so modest of you guys. All right. Well, we went with a little bit of a theme this week.
Okay.
I'm going to give you guys the heads up. Every question is phrased on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh,
okay.
So you're going to fuck us. Okay.
So Jake and I talked about it ahead of time when we looked at the answers.
That's worked out well in the past.
And we love the spread of answers for this one.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
It's basically, if I may say so, Jake, feel free to step in. It is basically a perfectly constructed Family Feud.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
let's just
perfect.
answer the
He's
simple
not
see that
question.
questioning in,
Yeah.
so he must agree. Yeah.
Let's answer the
it's
simple
perfect.
question. Is it fucking winnable? Is it
Yeah, it's
legally,
definitely,
street
definitely.
legally winnable?
Oh, yes.
That's something that I
many
didn't
times
think
over.
we had.
Okay.
Okay.
Many times over. Yep.
Mhm.
Many pathways, just like there is in life. There are many pathways to winning here at Family Feud. Jared is first. Dallas is second this time. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
So Jared pop that top, Dallas pop that top, and Jared will start us off. Our
he
leadoff
popped the
batter.
top already.
All right. Go get him, buddy.
I got you.
Go get him. Oh, all right.
Are there
Yeah,
any
take off your headset.
like big time answers? Are there any like, bam, 70 points?
I don't know. I think that's part of why it's so great. There is nothing that will
doesn't sound
single-handedly. No,
Yeah.
I mean, no. You got to kind of work for it, but you're also
Okay.
not getting screwed on any of these questions. There's
Okay.
nothing where the top answer is like 9 points. You know?
Okay, cool.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Question number 1, as always, out of 100. BID fans, thanks to the Discord for your contributions as always. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Juan Soto's Mets tenure?
5.
Question 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Paul Skeens' 2025 season?
7.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Roki Sasaki's debut season?
3.
Question 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, you guessed it, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Garrett Crochet's Red Sox tenure?
9.
Question 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of the A's 2025 season?
7.
Thank you very much. You are so composed. Look at you.
Yeah, I feel like I got all the number 1 answers.
Wow, that is a breathtaking level of confidence. Dallas, put your headset back on.
He can't hear us, nor is he paying attention because he's a
No.
fucking idiot. I don't know why when he can't hear us that he's not visually
Right.
looking. And
We ask him to like not get distracted for what amounts to, I don't know what, 90 seconds. And he can't do it.
Yeah.
And now we got to go through this whole thing where, like, Meg unplugged his stuff or whatever. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it worked. Yeah. It
Oh,
worked.
thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I gave the fist pump because I saw the
Oh,
fucking
okay.
icon pop up. I was like,
I thought it was
yes,
like
I
a
think-
fist, like you're gonna punch. Yeah. The
No,
screen.
no, it
Oh,
fucking
okay.
it worked.
All
How'd
right.
we do?
Oh, this is setting up. I really think this could be absolutely breathtaking. Jared got 102 points.
Oh, wow.
God.
You need 98 points, Dallas. So almost a nice 50-50 split. We haven't had something like this in a while.
You got this, Del.
Dallas, as I told him, there's not one answer that's going to win it for you. There's also not one question that's overly spread out and going to fuck you either. So you got a pathway here. You got a couple pathways.
Right.
But good luck to you. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
As always, thank you to the Discord. Out of 100 BID fans, question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Juan Soto's Mets tenure?
5. Fucking serious? 6.
Oh my gosh.
Already?
Panic City. Question 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Paul Skeens' 2025 season?
7.
Unbelievable.
Fucking really? 6.
Unbelievable.
6. Come on.
Question
You've
3.
got to be.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Roki Sasaki's debut season?
3. Fucking what? 2. I'm done with this fucking 1 to 10
This is
bullshit.
unreal. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Garrett Crochet's Red Sox tenure?
8.
Way to thread the needle on not answering Jared's. Question 5. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of the A's 2025 season?
8.
Great. Thank you, sir. Stand by, please.
Are you fucking serious?
You
Here
either
we
got
go.
mine or got one, like you were one higher or one lower.
Yeah, you guys were of similar minds here. Here we go. Jared had 102 points. Remember, I will tell you which ones, how much he got each time, but he has 102, so we'll count off of that. Question 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, not going to repeat all that stuff again. You guys get it. How would you rate the first portion of Juan Soto's Mets tenure? Jared said 5. That was the second most common answer. He got 22 points for that. Dallas, after almost losing composure, came through with 6. That was worth 18 points. That was the third most common answer. So you guys get up to 120 with 4 answers left. So you need, I will tell you, yeah, number 1 was 7 with 28 points. So you have 80 points left, 4 questions to get there. Need to average 20 points from here on out.
Slow start.
Question 2, rate the first portion of Paul Skeens' 2025 season. Jared said 7. That was the second most common answer again, 30 points. Dallas tried that, pivoted to 6 again, and he pivoted the right direction this time. The number 1 answer, 31 points. Get to 151 with 3 questions left, so 49 points remaining. So obviously, as I said, you guys had the top 2 answers there, 31 and 30. 5 was the next most common answer. Roki Sasaki's debut season, 1 to 10. Jared said 3. That was worth 28 points. That was the number 1 overall answer. Dallas tried that, pivoted to 2. That was unfortunately only the 4th most common answer. I think that's also what I would have gone with, in fairness, D. But that was worth only 9 points. So that gets you up to 160. So you're right back on that pace. You have 40 points remaining with 2 questions left. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being amazing, how would you rate the first portion of Garrett Crochet's Red Sox tenure? Jared said 9. Would you believe that got 0 points?
What?
0 points.
What?
0.
That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
we are taking the questions to a different fucking platform.
8, 7, and 10 were the top answers. So I think it's
that's crazy.
Just a statistical quirk that nobody picked 9.
It's been not perfect, but really good, aka 9.
Well, some people.
So
I guess people view
no
that
one
more
agrees.
as an 8.
You're all wrong.
But Dallas came through with the number 1 answer, which was 8. That was worth 38 points. So you get all the way to 198. Oh, no. You got to get to the last question. And it's about the A's, of course.
Fucking nailed it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, first portion of the A's season, Dallas went with that trusty 8 again. For reference, Jared went with 7. That was worth 22 points. That was the number 2 answer. Number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe that not a single person answered? No, I'm just kidding. That was the number 1 answer. 30 points. You guys have done it again.
What? That's what we do. But you know what? I mean, Jared, look, this is what we do. We get our hand raised at the end of every week. That is, it's like waking up and taking a piss. It's something that's got to happen really before I even leave the bedroom. Kind of like we wake up and piss excellence. What in the actual fuck is the discourse thinking when it comes to the Garrett Crochet question?
I honestly think it was literally just a statistical quirk where people interpreted, everybody went with 8. Everybody who thought along the lines of what Jared said went with 8, and everybody who was being more generous than that went with 10. And there was just nobody who went with 9. Every other person.
Well, that's crazy. Like if you were to say like give it a letter grade, you could be like, yeah, it's an A-.
Well, that's why
a 90.
Right.
That's why
I
we
didn't go with
that route.
letters because I thought the minus plus system would be too complicated.
No.
on
I'm just
short
saying,
order,
like,
but-
if we were to use that equivalent, if I were to ask someone, hey, Red Sox fan, what would you give a letter grade to Garrett Crochet so far? I'd be like, probably A-, aka a 90, aka a 9 on a 10-point scale.
Well, I think you would be fine to be a little bitter if you guys hadn't won, but I think
but we
this is
did.
just a case where you kind of dust it off and you enjoy your
I
victory.
just want to win
and-
better,
Yeah, I
So
understand.
we
But
did.
you guys
Yeah.
won still by a healthy margin. I mean, you were into
Yeah.
the 230 or whatever. So
We
Yeah.
like to smack them bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Smack them
understand.
discourse hoes.
Well,
yeah.
it's not very 2025, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean the discourse as a group, not actual.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
The proverbial. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about it, discourse. Thought you were coming fucking tough with your 1 to 10 shit, huh? Beat it. Beat it. Yeah. Oh, I got
Well, that was
something that'll
that
trip
was
'em
my
up.
idea, but yeah.
Well, you fucking too.
Yeah, you can beat it too, geek.
You can catch these fucking 1 to
I
10
thought it-
hands too.
I thought it produced one of the great family feuds we've had in recent runs. So credit to me, credit to Jake, credit to Corey, credit to the Discord.
Credit to everyone,
Mhm.
but you failed.
Good.
Yeah. Well, my job is not trying to get you guys to lose. I could do that literally every time if that was my
Yeah.
goal. My goal is to provide entertaining content and make people smile as we go into the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and
probably
for
the
that, I
most
think I do a
buzzers for
great job.
Dallas in history, which was
It was
fantastic.
3 straight to start it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very frustrated.
We have to make a phone call right now, Justin Havens.
Let's do it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Is this the Middle Havens brother?
This is the Havens brother with the most championships.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
who you're looking for?
Wow. Just this is my brother Brandon. Welcome onto the pod. You're on the call with Jared and Dallas and Jake. Wanted
Wow.
to I know it's a big moment. I mean, longtime pod listener, one of our most loyal listeners since back in the S9 days. I mean, you guys have both met my brother.
Yes. It's hard to be humble.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, the designer of the Hard to Be Humble sweatshirts. I just want to take a moment. I don't think I was on the mic the last time you had a kid, so I want to take a moment to shout out my third child, your third child, my new niece, Cameron Coletta Havens. Just want to turn the mic over to you and say congratulations to you. And Anna.
Thank you to
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. This means a lot. It is amazing that I had to have 3 kids to get on the podcast and be a pod listener for what is over a decade
Yeah.
to get on the pod. But I've been shown a lot of generosity by the pod before. I've both in person at Fenway by both of you, Jared and Dallas, and obviously Justin showers my kids with love. So I look forward to Justin coming on and meeting Cameron in person. Killer Cam, as she's been known around the house so far.
Mm-hmm.
Named after Mike Cameron.
But no, it's
correct?
been wonderful.
Named
Former
after Mike
Mariners
Cameron.
center fielder Mike Cameron.
Well, I made the mistake of my mom and dad, but my mom in particular, get confused when we give them names. So we always got to give them perspective, and I made the mistake of giving them the perspective of like a former baseball player that my dad would know. And
Yeah, we
Justin
said this
and
in the
Dylan
family
obviously
text.
caught on that. Yeah, in the family text, they immediately were like, "Oh yeah, Mike Cameron, that's it." I'm like, "Well, that wasn't the inspiration. It's not like Mike Cameron was the muse,
The muse.
but it was enough for it to be like, this is context for Justin and my dad and my younger brother, because I played a Cameron song when I introduced the kids to the family, and everyone on the phone was like, "I don't know what that song is."
Well,
I was like, "Okay,
know your
well, then I'll go
demographic,
Mike Cameron." Yeah, anybody know Mike Cameron? And they were like, "Yeah."
You could have opted for a Cam Bedrosian. I know it's not Cameron, but it's still a viable Cam.
Well, and the real shocking.
Nobody would have known.
The real shocking part is that he played a Cameron song for a bunch of 70-year-olds and suburban white people, and was like, oh, nobody caught on, huh? It's like, also it was played on his phone over the phone on speaker. So I was like, what is this? Oh no, Mike Cameron. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I think half the people on the phone thought it was the intro song from like The Lion King when they introduced Simba. I was like, no, that's not it either. So
Simba would have been a bold
pivoted
choice.
Pretty hard to just being like Mike Cameron, and that was a mistake. It was like Dallas when he goes second in Family Feud. It was a little too fast.
You just missed an all-time Dallas going second appearance. I'm sure when this podcast comes out, you will be able to hear how Dallas was able to handle his second appearance on the Family Feud. I think what people are going to come away from this call, Jay Hay, from noticing is that you and your brother speak in a similar cadence.
Yes.
Every single person who hears us talk near each other says that for the first time.
In particular.
Yeah, you guys speak in your voices don't sound the same, but you enunciate and articulate your words the same.
Hey, big mannerisms guy too.
But that's true. We get that all the time. I mean, Family Feud did not start on with the pods. I've been listening to him do Family Feud since before Steve Harvey was. We used to take trips from Pennsylvania to Cleveland and Ohio to visit our grandparents, and Justin would do the whole thing. And he would make it very easy for my younger brother and very difficult for me just so that I would lose.
That's kind of what
that was like how the whole thing started. And then it became, we'll do it during Christmas. I'm Steve Harvey. It's like, this is great, but it started with kind of a lot of bad memories.
That's fair.
For me.
That is fair.
Now it's a BID staple.
You'll be happy to know he's continued the trend because he got to a point one time with us where he just completely fucked us. It was an impossible game.
Yeah, impossible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of those bad memories and those feelings of angst have just been put onto you, and that's perfect. Now I get to enjoy it as an audience member. Yeah, everyone else gets to. Yeah, it's just my parents are like, it was fun. We had great time. It entertained us for hours. I was like, he gave him toys and he gave me history. It's not fair.
Yeah. That was the birth of your anxiety throughout the rest of your life. Was
the competition.
Yeah, playing Family Feud with.
Hey, can you differentiate the death toll between the War of 1812 and the War of 1912?
Yeah.
I used to do one. I know we'll wrap up here. I used to do one question in particular, though, that Brandon's talking about, where I would just say, "What time did I write this question?"
See, so the birth of Justin Hussein, it goes far beyond the podcast.
Far beyond.
This was a call about Cameron and her birth, but really it's an eye into a peek into our family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She will get a full opportunity once she opens her eyes for more than 30 minutes at a time to enjoy what the family has to offer. And one of those things is Justin.
Yeah.
But there's plenty more to it. Shout out Dylan. But no, it's thank you very much for making my daughter's birth a part of the pod.
Of course.
And she will be a lifelong listener. Keep it going, guys.
Love that. Brandon,
Thanks,
congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you for popping on. And I truly hope that you enjoy Dallas's Family Feud performance today, because it was an all-time classic.
I do. And hopefully I'll catch you at Fenway, try and see Justin this year. We'll grab a game. But, and always nice to hear you guys, and big fan. Keep it going. Okay.
Hell yeah.
We'll see you in September.
Awesome.
Thanks, babe.
It's hard to be humble. You're a Havens. And that is that's Brandon of the Havens clan, and three-time dad. It's crazy.
Paving the way.
It's not for everyone.
No. I love that Ace has been sleeping for like the last hour. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I sort of forgot he was a problem at the beginning of this.
Yeah, he was. Well, because I haven't really let him. This is the only room that he hasn't pissed in yet. So I was like, I don't like he's gotten to a point now where like the accidents in the house have subsided substantially. So I was like, all right, like I feel like in the beginning he would have wanted to piss in here on purpose just to piss in here. And I'm like, now I think we're at a point where I don't think he will piss in here. But yeah, he did a little exploring because it's the room is new to him. But then I think once he kind of saw that it's small. There's nothing really special to it. There's nothing for him to like eat or chew on. He was like, all right, I'm going to take a nap at your feet. So that's what he's been doing.
I'm out.
Yeah. He sleeps on his back. He's like sleeping on his back right now.
That's good. You want to know what that means? That's a sign of extreme comfort
Oh, there you go.
and security.
Yeah.
There you go.
He loves his dad. Got a pup cup yesterday. Yeah. We spent a lot of time together.
Little puppuccino.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was afraid that when I got back from London that he wasn't going to remember who I was, but he was like, that's my fucking dad. I fucking love this guy. He's the best. Never leaving your side. And he hasn't.
I met a little, not little, fuck, let me rephrase. I met a 45-pound French bulldog.
No?
Like that should not exist.
No.
This little fucker's name was Hero. I was the dude. Hero. I was the dude, and it was great because we're in Miami, right? So like you can imagine just the scene in Miami at the bar, and I am down on the floor in the bar with this dog, just fucking. He is going ham, just trying to eat my ears, and I had a great time. I played with Hero for fucking 20 minutes.
You're
like
a big dog guy.
The owners were trying to talk to me, and the husband, who was a baseball fan, was really trying to talk to me. And I was like, we're not having a fucking conversation right now. I am talking to your dog. When I'm done talking to your dog, we can talk about how shitty your team is. But right now, it's me and Hero. So shout out to Hero.
Shout out Hero, brother. Are we in the final thoughts part of this podcast?
Indeed.
Okay. Final thought for me. Buy your mom flowers. Go on. There's not an ad. There's no promo code. There's no company attached to this. But Mother's Day is on Sunday. I'm sure there's plenty of people. I have friends that forget like anniversaries, Valentine's Days, birthdays, and I got to like remind them the day of. Mother's Day, Sunday. Go out there, get your mom some flowers, or that mother in your life, because I've got plenty of moms in my life that I've got to go punch in fucking 5 different addresses for moms. So be sure to make their day special on Sunday. That's all I got. Dallas?
Nope.
Justin?
Cool. Just a few nugs. Mackenzie Gore's 36.4% strikeout rate in 2025. That would be long way to go. The second highest ever by a left-handed pitcher in a qualified season. That was behind only Randy Johnson in 2001. So Mackenzie Gore striking people out like prime Randy Johnson, which is kind of crazy. Not sure everybody's fully caught on to that yet. Jackson Holiday, underdog, noted that he's batting second. It's the first time he's hitting higher than sixth for just the second time in his career. Hitting 353 with a 965 OPS over his last 12 games, spanning 39 plate appearances, so a very small sample. But maybe things are starting to turn there. A bright spot for the Orioles, perhaps. Max Fried. I feel like a Yankees $200 million free agent signing getting off to this sort of start would actually typically be garnering more attention than Max Fried has garnered. But if you look at left-handed pitchers in the last 90 seasons, to have 6 or more wins with an ERA of 1.25 or lower through their first 8 starts of a season, that list is Max Fried in 2025, Randy Johnson in 2000. So it's the first time it's happened in 25 years. Fernando Valenzuela, Wilbur Wood, Vida Blue, Sandy Koufax, Whitey Ford, and Lefty Grove. So you kept saying Steve Carlton. I named basically every other good left-handed pitcher of other than Steve Carlton, but I'm sure he got off to some tremendous starts on his own right. But those arbitrary numbers, Max Fried is doing that on the total opposite end of the spectrum, because I like to be fair and balanced. 0 wins, 6 or more losses, and a 9.90 ERA or higher through the first 7 starts in the wild card era. Herman Marquez has done that. The other people to do that again since 95 are Shintaro Fujinami in 23, Ching-Ming Wang in 2009, Jeff Weaver in 07, Josh Towers in 06, and Jaime Navarro in 2000. And those are the nugs.
You said through the first 6 starts, Jay?
7 was the Marquez note, but yeah. Why are you?
I just went back to look at Carlton, 5-1.
The first 8 starts was the
8 starts.
was the Freed one. Yeah. 6 wins, 1.25 ERA or lower.
6 wins, 1.25. Yeah, he has through 8 starts, just 5 wins and a 1.9. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not for everyone, as you like to say. And those are my final thoughts.
That's not.
Okay. Jake's takes.
Shout out Ryan Dempster for plunking A-Rod back in the day. I'm sure Dallas appreciated that a lot. Just an all-time moment. Never forget it.
All-time moment, Jake.
That was
You are
big time.
absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, that was 11 years ago, brother. That was 2014.
That was one of the things that, like, because I didn't know Dimp at the time at all, right? And I was just like, I love you. I love you. Like, this dude's got some fuck you in him, even though he's Canadian, super nice guy.
He is
probably
super
go
nice.
and pick you up off the dirt after he fucking puts one in your neck. Love it.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out to Ryan Dempster for coming on the podcast today. That was crazy.
Yeah. Canadian music talent. Right.
You never know who you're going to get on Baseball is Dead. I feel like most of our guests are more impromptu than planned. So,
yeah.
Well, all right. Enjoy your weekend of baseball. And I know we will. Be nice to just plop on the couch this weekend and watch games and be able to just immerse myself in some out of market ball. It's been a hectic week, but I'm looking forward to doing some of that. And we'll be right back here on Monday with more Baseball is Dead to break down all the stories that took place over the weekend. Jake, when's the next Celtics game?
Saturday afternoon, 3:30.
All right. I'm not going to wish you luck because I feel like that hasn't gone right the first couple times. So I'm just going to.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right. We'll be back on Monday.
Wow.